You were live.
All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to our meeting this evening. All those present, if you'd please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under indivisible, liberty and justice. Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody to our meeting tonight. Go ahead and start and look for an approval of the agenda. So move. Second. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy?
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey?
Yes.
Chairman Urbina?
Yes. Any upcoming commissioner absences?
I have a question. Alex, during the Pledge of Allegiance, was that broken up? Was the audio broken for you?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. This has been an ongoing issue. Thank you.
Any absences? Any communications? Looking for an approval of the minutes. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes of our August 13th meeting. Second. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Incy?
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey?
Yes.
Chairman Urbina?
Yes. Gets us to vouchers.
I'll move that we approve accounts payable vouchers CLM 0000001 through CLM 0000007. Payroll vouchers 201858 through 201856, along with ACH payroll transfer, and as outlined in the agenda for a grand total of $2,608,050.27.
Second. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy?
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey?
Yes.
Chairman Urbina?
Yes. And I did hear that there was nothing from the union, the local pursuit. That gets us to chief's reports.
All right, we'll start with Chief Booth. Good evening. Two quick things I wanted to update the board on. First, over the next 12 to 18 months, we'll be working with Pierce County Department of Works Management, DEM, to update our hazard mitigation plan. This is something that is a plan that'll be good for the next 5 years, 2025 to 2030. I will be coming to the board for an approval of the commissioners once I better understand what I actually need to do to accomplish that. That's required in the process. The second thing I want to update the group on is that we were successful in being awarded the L&I fire grant this year. Again, we're going to they're going to help pay for an extractor and drying cabinet. And these are going to be going to Station 53 that is currently under renovation. So if you remember, it's a 2-to-1 match. It gets us right up to the maximum award of $25,000. And so we're excited to continue to work with L&I and for them to support us in making our workplace safer.
Chief Johns? Good morning. Good morning. Good evening, everybody. Sorry, slip. So on the chief's report, just going to provide an update on some of our wildland stuff. Currently, Chief Meyer is assigned to the Williams mine fire safety, and he's actually was extended so they can kind of get that thing put to bed, as we say, to give it to a different team. So he will actually be traveling home tomorrow. Dana Perillo is going to be headed down to the Homestead Complex down in Oregon as a medical group suit. Travel down on Friday. And I am going to be traveling on Friday as well to the Whiskey Creek fire, just outside Liaison. Probably in the past month, we've had the brush truck a few times. Todd's been out, I've been out, Dana's been out. There's been a lot of fire in the Northwest. At one point, we have 8 management teams in the Northwest. We had 15 outside teams in the Northwest, along with all 8 teams on fires between Washington and Oregon. So it's starting to calm down. Obviously, you've seen lots of rain, and that has actually helped us quite a bit. Lots of things wrapping up. Just wanted to provide. Thank you.
Dave Boldenberg.
Yeah, good evening, Commissioner. I have two items, one in the finance and one in human resources. So I just want to give you a heads up that over the course of the next month or two, we're going to be coming to the commission with a number of resolutions and policy changes. We are going to request that we issue our own warrants, cut our own checks for our payments here. Historically, that's been done through Pierce County. In our software configuration, that has presented a number of challenges to automating our processes. So we would like to have that discussion moving forward about doing it ourselves. And so we'll get all the pieces in place. We're doing all the background. And so we will present that to the commission over the course of the next 2 to 4 weeks for hopefully your approval as we move forward. The next thing on the HR side is we are beginning the new hire process next week. So we'll be doing our initial interviews of 80+ people that were taken off the list. That's in anticipation of creating an eligibility list that we can select from to have employees ready to go to begin work here or an academy on January 1st. So it's just it takes us a while to get through that process. So we're starting it here next week. It's just an FYI. Stand for any questions.
Piggyback on that, Chief Oldenburg has given you an update about UKG and software that have asked for a refund back. Weren't getting any responses. So while I was at Fire Rescue International, there was a UKG booth. So I went to the UKG booth, had a conversation with them. Now have at least an agreement to give us our money back. So it was worthwhile. Just for that one thing.
Pay for yourself.
Plus some.
We did it.
So may have used some old union tactics. That's all right. Pierce County Fire Chiefs. We fire chiefs, and I'm part of a subcommittee on data with the South Sound 911. We've been trying to get some data from them on call answering, call processing times. They just didn't have the staff time to put into it or the expertise. So as fire chiefs, we asked for an FTE and it went to the board and the board approved that. So I have asked to be part on the committee to hire, and we'll write the job description and hire that person. And they sent me an appointment today for the next couple of weeks. So we'll be working as fire chiefs with Southside 911 to create that position. So that we'll get good data analytics from them on call answering and call processing time, and we'll be able to get it, and they'll be able to report how they're doing. So excited to make that change. Also sticking with our Pierce County Fire Chiefs meeting, we've had some frustration with the lack of involvement from the Pierce County executive in many ways. That position is up and there's 2 candidates. So we are meeting with those 2 candidates as fire chiefs to talk about our frustrations, mostly at DEM and with the lack of involvement from Pierce County at South Sound 911 and in other arenas, radios and towers. So we're excited. We have a meeting on September 5th. It's going to be President Sharp and myself, the executive board of the Pierce County Fire Chiefs, meeting with Ryan Mello on September 5th and Kelly Chambers on September 12th. So whoever wins, we're going to lay the foundation before that. And then the last thing we discussed at Pierce County Fire Chiefs was more on the radio subscriber fees. We haven't got a bill for outstanding payment. Others have. A fire chief made a public information request to the county on who has been charged in the last 10 years and what have they paid to the county. And there are many fire and police departments that have been paying nothing to the county. So it was good information. Moving to Washington Fire Chiefs. We have a board meeting on September 11th that afternoon. We also, Chief Booth went to a meeting for me on July 31st. The Washington Office of Insurance Commission is up, and there's a likely winner, Senator Patty Couture from King
That's
County.
right.
Anyway, she seems to be the likely candidate to win, so the legislative committee from the Washington Fire Chiefs wanted to meet with her to talk about insurance, WSRB, and some other things, and Chief Booth attended that meeting. We feel like we have a voice, and we have somebody that's gonna listen to us. Don't think she made any promises, but.
Nope. I would say that if anything, she said that there's gonna be lots of stakeholder meetings. And she basically challenged those in the room to step forward and to be part of the process moving forward. She said, I appreciate you guys explaining this to me. There's a lot I need to learn, but I'm gonna need help, so show up. So hopefully we show up.
So every day I get a call on this. I can't believe how much time I'm spending on insurance and WSRB. I got a call from other fire chiefs. Because I'm on the board, because it's been highlighted, and every one of them I call her and let her know. Fox Island, I'm getting calls, and I'm also asking them to call her, because the more people that she hears from other than just me, the more that we might be able to make change next year. And in the Washington Fire Chiefs, also, some of you may know Steve Wright, the executive director, and he has decided to retire at the end of the year. Moving on, we have September 11th is fast approaching 0900.
Tom is leading the charge on that tonight.
We'll have a ceremony like we always do, and we'll get you the date, the time, and it'll probably look a lot like last year's, but I wanted to remind you that on September 11th. As you know, we had the break-in at Station 53. Chief Peterson and Travis and Chief Johnson all went there, and by 1 o'clock they had cameras installed. So they did a really great job, and then we're moving to Station 57 to do the same thing. But the damage was a plywood door. They did take some equipment from the contractor, and they did break in, or they tried to break into the lieutenant's door. They obviously didn't take our forcible entry class because they couldn't get in. It shot a hole, and then when they looked in, there's nothing in there. So we've tried to secure those buildings a little bit better, and we're install cameras. I have a meeting with Tacoma's interim chief on September 17th. Working on the request for the 5357, what we're going next, and what we're opening, and the data analysts on those two stations. It's going to take me a few weeks because I'm working in between things, and Tanya's helping me, and she's also working on a lot of projects. So it'll be a few more weeks if that's okay, but it's not forgotten. It's not ready. That's all I have.
Any questions? Quick go back. I just confirmed with Chief Westcott, 0930 on 9/11. Thank you. All right, not seeing any questions. It's us to standing committee reports. Any standing committee reports? Next on the agenda is our financial report. Crystal.
Okay. I will troubleshoot my video, but in the meantime, I will share the agenda packet. Okay, included in tonight's packet is on page 16 is the July monthly report. I don't have too many things to note into this other than our revenue is as expected. Operating expenses for salary and benefits are as anticipated. We do see a little less in terms of spending on our capital improvement section for operating expenses. This is also anticipated. We do have quite a few facilities projects that are currently in the queue where we haven't received any invoicing yet. On the capital fund, that is probably our area of lowest spend. However, we did just recently award the training campus bid. So we do anticipate seeing some spending associated with that capital improvement project here in the last quarter of the year. Ending cash looks as it typically does in the middle of the year, so I don't have a lot to say there. This will be the last report that is generated from our prior financial system. We are in the middle of our financial system implementation. The layout will look very similar in terms of August, but we're working on those internal reports out of our new system as we move and go live. Does anyone have any questions about this month's report?
Thank you, Crystal. I don't have anything for the chairman's report this evening. Gets us to the bond update.
All right, good evening again. Chief Don took my thunder about the break-in at 53. That's all handled. I went out today and checked with contractor and mainly checking with contractor because part of my update is drywall and siding started today. So he's going to be, just wanted him to make sure that he could remove the cameras to put the cameras back up. That's siding went up on that side. So the update out there at 53 is the insulation interior was completed. We got the cover inspection and moving forward. So drywall and siding started today. Just kind of another milestone there. And then countertops going to be September 9th, roughly. Project completion and tentative occupancy for 53 is October 18th. That's in essence. Occupancy is done, handed back to us. So, and then 57 is about 3.5 weeks behind that. Framing is completed at 57. As I said last time, the driveway is complete. So basically the plumber and everybody have moved from 3 to 7. And the trades are just falling in behind them. Training campus. So I know it's been a few weeks, but we finally got it figured out. Yesterday there was a misunderstanding. Each of us were waiting for a contract from the other one. And once we got the contractor on board and let them know that they needed to go to a certain page in what they had already signed, that was actually the contract. And then it was a matter of having their bonding company accept that as the contract. That's what we had to work through. So believe we're good, should have bonding and insurance within the week. And once that's back to me, I'll do the notice to proceed. And we already have a meeting on the books for September 13th. That's where I will meet with contractor, the architect, some of their subs, and we will talk about everything, kind of get a schedule hashed out and walk around the campus. So it's moving through misunderstandings, but we're good now. Station 51, still working on some of those finishing touches. Had a good discussion with the city fire marshal about a few items. So good news there. Had to change a couple of things for 51 in the at bay kind of ventilation. Just moving of air so we don't get stagnant air in that big space was one of the questions. Charging stations at 51. Because it falls under the new code, we're required to have 2 charging stations. Charging stations and municipalities or government agencies is a touchy subject. Some people view it as gifting of funds, some people don't. There's a whole array of different policies from different places. Our electrical contractor has actually worked through a lot of this. And she put me in touch with who she's been working with. So it's a company, basically, we provide infrastructure to a vault and they take care of the rest. And then in essence, basically pay us back for the power that's used. So that's one company. I actually have a meeting with them tomorrow for them to explain all of these minor details, I'm sure, but are big details tomorrow. Then I'll be scheduling another meeting with the second, it's in the Puget Sound region that does that. To get that all worked out before we, need to actually do it. 5-0. Perry laughed when he saw my notes and it says moving along. So it is moving along. As I informed you at the last meeting, we had some HVAC questions. We have some options now. One option we believe is going to be better. The refrigerant for a different type of system won't go out of code until next December. So this gives us a little bit of time to put everything into one contract. Is what we're still going two paths. Not sure which one's going to happen. But I had to call the Pierce County building official and talk to her. Good discussion. She's now in touch with our mechanical engineer and they are hashing it out. But we are moving along in a good way. And he is also working on all those drawings that in essence we're waiting on to move that project forward. Another good news today, we just got the hazmat survey back. So every time we do a project and we're going to touch anything, we have to have a hazmat survey. You would expect we don't have anything at 5.0 or not much, and that's the case. In essence, we have the Freon and the HVAC systems that has to be taken out by a certified company. And then there's some actually mirror adhesive that has some little bit of stuff that we need to not worry about, but it's taken out in the appropriate way. And that's just the age of the building, but that's it. So all good news there. Good to proceed forward. With all of that information, is there any questions from anybody? And just for everybody up there, Chief Doan, commissioners, I am working with Pease and RFM. So we get it all hashed out. We will be having a groundbreaking, and I'll let you know well in advance of when that time and date that'll be. Thank you.
Any questions for Chief Johnson? Don't see any old business or any new business. Now's the time for open public comment. Please state your name for the record. You'll have 3 minutes. If you are joining us online, please raise your hand. We'll bring you into the meeting. Not seeing anybody online. There's none here present, so we'll move to good of the order. Anything for the good of the order? Any special interests, upcoming events? All right, I'll adjourn the meeting. The next regular meeting will be held on September 10th at 5 p.m. Thank you.